Good morning. Today we are going to study about single slider crank chain and its inversion. This is the part 1 of the lecture and you will see the part 2 in the next lecture. A single slider crank is a basic modification of the basic 4-bar chain. Here, one of the turning pair is replaced by a sliding pair. So it consists of one sliding pair and 3 turning pairs. So it's basically found in reciprocating steam engine mechanism, and even IC engines or internal combustion engines are also single slider crank chain. So this type of mechanism is usually used to convert rotary motion into reciprocatory motion and vice versa. So here you can see the single slider crank chain mechanism. You have the crank which is fixed. The crank is rotates. Already we have discussed that anything that is rotating is called as crank. So this pair will be a turning pair. The crank is connected to the connecting rod. Using the connecting rod, with the connecting rod, other end is connected to the piston. And here you have the link 1 which is the frame. So you have the link 1 which is frame, link 2 which is crank, link 3 which is the connecting rod, and link 4 which is the piston. So when the crank is rotating, the piston will reciprocate along the guideways. Now we can see what are the various inversions of the single slider crank chain. So now if we are fixing the cylinder or the link 4, then we get the pendulum pump or the bull engine. So here you can see when the crank rotates, that is the link 2 rotates, the connecting rod 3, it is going to oscillate about the pivoted to the fixed link at 4 at A, and the piston attached to the piston rod reciprocates. So the duplex pump which is used to supply feed water to the boilers have 2 pistons attached to the link 1. So you can see this is the crank and here you have the cylinder fixed. So the cylinder is fixed. So when the crank is rotating, then it causes through the connecting rod, it causes the piston to oscillate. So piston will move up and down, and when it is moving down, suction will create. When it is moving down, water will be filled inside the cylinder cavity. When it is moving up, the water will be delivered. Okay, so this is the working of a pendulum pump or a bull engine. So next you can see the oscillating cylinder engine. So in the oscillating cylinder engine, what we do is the connecting rod is fixed. Okay, so the link that is connecting the crank and the piston, this link is fixed, and this is the link 1. Along this link, the piston will be reciprocating. So the piston will be sliding along the line of the link 1. Now what happens when the crank rotates? So the crank is going to rotate. So that will cause the link 1 to oscillate. So when the link 1 is oscillating, and as well as it will oscillate, as well as the piston will move to and fro within the cylinder, that is along the link 4. But the cylinder will be pivoted, so the cylinder will oscillate about the frame. So the arrangement is shown. So it is again used to convert the reciprocating motion into rotary motion. So in this mechanism, the link 3, that is which is connecting rod, is forming the turning pair. This pair is fixed. So when the crank 2 rotates, the piston attached to the piston rod, that is the link 1, reciprocates, as well as the cylinder, which is the link 4, oscillates about the pin which is pivoted to the fixed link at the point E. So I am explaining once again. So this crank is going to rotate. So what will happen? These two will form a turning pair. So when this is moving in the downward direction, automatically this will move. So this is going to move up and down. At the same time, the length of the rod also will be increasing. So to compensate for that, the cylinder will oscillate about the pivot point. At the same time, the slider will slide inside the link 4. Next is rotary internal combustion engine or NOM engine. So it consists of 7 cylinders or 6 to 7 cylinders in one plane, and all revolve about the fixed center D as shown in the figure, while the crank 2 is fixed. So in this mechanism, when the connecting rod when the connecting rod, that is the link 4, rotates, the piston, that is link 3, reciprocates inside the cylinders, forming the link 1. So what happens is, crank is fixed. So when the crank is fixed, then if you are moving the link 3, so if this link 3 is given a rotary motion, so what will happen is, this due to this link 3 is rotating, automatically the piston will also slide inside the cylinder. But since this is rotating, it will also cause the cylinder to also rotate. So here the crank remains stationary, whereas the cylinders will keep on rotating. So the entire frame will start to rotate. Okay, so here you have the link 3, which is given a rod in the connecting here. Link 4 is acting as the connecting rod actually here. So if it is given a rotary motion, so the piston also will slide inside the cylinder. At the same time, the cylinder will also start to rotate. Next, you can see the crank and slotted lever quick return motion mechanism. So by quick return motion, we mean that while it is moving in the forward direction, it takes a longer time, and while it moves in the reverse direction, the time taken is very less. So this is used in shaper and in slaughter, where the time taken for the cutting stroke is longer when compared to the time that is taken for the return stroke. So here again you can see the 4-bar mechanism. So here you can see the crank, and this is the fixed link, and here you can see the another link in which this is the slider. Okay, so here you can see the slider, here you can see the crank, that is the link 2, and here you can see the link 3, which is fixed, and you can see the link 4. So instead of having just guideways, it is in the form of a slotted bar. So now what happens is, when the crank is rotating, so the crank will rotate. So when the crank is, suppose it is moving to this position, the slider will move along the slotted bar. So it will move up and down along the slotted bar. At the same time, since the crank is moving, or since the crank is rotating, the slotted bar will rock between the two positions P1 and P2. So when the crank is rotating, the slider slides inside the slotted bar, and the slotted bar will rock between the points P1 and P2. So P1 is one extreme position and P2 is the another extreme position. Now what they generally do is they attach a link PR to the slotted bar, and to that the ram or the tool head is attached. Okay. So when the slotted bar is moving from one extreme position to another extreme position, we get the stroke. Okay, so when it is at P1, it will be at the position R1. When it is at P2, the ram will be at the position R2. Okay, so when it is moving in this direction from R1 to R2, then that is called as the cutting stroke. When it is moving in the reverse direction, then that is called as the return stroke. So here you can see it is starting. The extreme positions are the position when the slotted lever is tangential to the circle. So if you draw a circle with the crank as radius, the extreme positions will be the positions when the slotted lever is tangential to the circle. So when it is moving from B1, okay, so crank is at this position B1 till it reaches the position B2. The point P1 will trace a curve and R1 will move from R1 to R2. So when it is moving from B1A, B2A, B1, then it comes back from R2 to R1. So you can see when it is moving from R1 to R2, it travels the distance of B1, B, B2, which is more than 3/4 of the circle. Whereas when it is coming in the return stroke, it travels from B2 to A, which is about 1/4 or slightly greater than the 1/4. Since it travels in the faster in the forward direction, takes a longer time to travel in the forward direction and takes a shorter time to come back to the original position in the return stroke. It is called as quick return mechanism. So in this mechanism, we see that the link 3 forming the turning pair is fixed. Okay. So the link 3 corresponds to the connecting rod of a reciprocating steam engine. So when the driving crank CB revolves with a uniform angular speed about the fixed center C, the sliding block attached to the crank pin at B slides along the slotted bar AP, and this causes AP to oscillate about the pivoted point. A short link PR transmits the motion from AP to the ram, which carries the tool and reciprocates along the line of stroke R1 to R2. So the line of stroke of the ram, that is R1, R2, is always perpendicular to the AC produced. So you can see the time for the, so in the extreme positions AP1 and AP2 are tangential to the circle and the cutting tool is at the end of the stroke. So already discussed, it moves from CB1 to CB2 and travels through an angle beta in the clockwise direction. So for the return stroke, it travels from CB2 to CB1 through an angle alpha. So since the crank has uniform speed, then the time, okay, crank on the uniform speed. So time taken for the cutting stroke by time taken for the return stroke will be a function of their angle beta by alpha. So you can also write alpha as 360 minus beta. So since the tool travels a time of R1 and R2 during the cutting stroke, the travel of tool for the length of the stroke is equal to R1 R2 P1 P2 to P1 Q into 2A P1 into sine of P1 AQ. Substituting all that, you can find out 2AP into CB by AC. Yes, thank you. We will see in the continuation in the next lecture.